happy Canada Day to everyone, and happy Wednesday, wherever you are around the world. My name is Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome, Canada, and today I'm here at the Janome Sewing and Learning Centre, again in Oakville, Ontario. Let me flip this back around. And, ooh, I don't want to make anyone dizzy. We're bringing you another A to Z with Janome. And again, there's my little Canada Day flag to celebrate Canada Day. So I'm just going to move that and move this. And today, something very special too. I'm working on the fabulous Skyline S7. I have never sewn on one before. I've sewn on a couple of other, in the Skyline series, we have several Skyline machines. I've never sewn on the Skyline S7, and I must say I'm loving it. So yes, it's a good treat to be here. Let me scan over here. Perfect. So today, Janome's HQ Instagram Live is brought to you by the letter W, which is our binding foot. It's a very cool foot. Again, it's been around forever, but a lot of people really don't know what it is, or again, it's very cool. So very cool looking, so you wonder what it is all about. And there is my cute little sample. So W is the binding foot. Now, how they came up with a W for that foot, I'll never know, but there's my cute little Tamaracate fabric. So the binding foot, again, with a single layer of fabric, it allows me to bind that raw edge, and then I bound that edge here. So very quick and easy, very uniform. This I showed on Monday's, the sample I showed on Monday's show that I was doing the gathering foot, the V foot, but then with the W foot, the binding foot, I put on this narrow, it's about a quarter of an inch approximately, this narrow tape or this narrow binding. So again, very beautiful inside and out. Now this folds the strip and stitches it down at the same time. So it's a really good time saver. Oh, hello everyone. I see lots of people are joining in. Hello, Celine. Hello, hello. So thank you very much for joining me. Yeah, so we can do our little, that would be great for, that would be great for like a skirt hem or on a sleeve or a ruffle around a pillow. And how about this? Create your little binding strip here. Again, it's approximately about a quarter of an inch. And then this could be like a pendant with little scraps of fabric here, or even you could embroider or with fabric markers right in, happy birthday or something like that. So I thought, how cute is that? Again, to create this tape, all folded and stitched at the same time. So very beautiful. And you can just make yards and yards of it. I had so much fun just stitching, practicing. And again, when you get every foot, anything new, any new technique, you just want to practice and practice and practice. So it's really fun. And I thought all of these could become like spaghetti straps on a summer dress, or all of these could become like a tie, certainly like a ponytail tie, or tie up your bolts of fabric or anything like that. Nothing goes to waste in my sewing room. So you could make just the strip like that. Or then, of course, yes, again, you could bind a single layer of fabric. So if this was going to be like the pocket, for example, I did this as well with the tape binder attachment, but this W binder foot is slightly more narrow. Again, this is about a quarter of an inch. So this could be the top edge of my pocket, for example, and then I would just fold under these edges and top stitch them down. So this adds a nice designer detail. Or this is what's known as a Hong Kong finish. If this is a unlined blazer or an unlined skirt, let's say, and then you finish off your seam allowances. So I've done my regular stitching there, 5/8 of an inch, and then with the W binder foot, then I have bound beautifully those raw edges of the seam allowance. So again, it's known as a Hong Kong finish, definitely higher end clothing, you will see that. So that's very beautiful, very quick and easy to do. And you decide, do you do your seam first and then finish off your seam allowances, or I actually finished off my seam allowances first and then I stitched my stitch. I found that easier. So that's a good application for it. Now you don't have to use, you don't have to use just a regular straight stitch. This is the blind hem stitch, or one of the blind hem stitches. So I can make my strips with any kind of thread, any kind of stitch I want on the machine. Again, it doesn't have to be a straight stitch. It could be decorative. Here on this sample, I was playing around with various stitches, and again, experiment with your thread choice as well. So it's fun to do these samples. And again, there's that serpentine stitch, very quick and easy to do, so it doesn't have to be just a regular old straight stitch. Now, the binder foot, it looks like this. Again, a lot of people wonder, what in the world is that? So, but it's a very cool foot with this big funnel on the end. It snaps in like that. So if you look for the letter W, so don't try to snap the foot in like that. That would be backwards. So look for the W. So this is how your foot snaps into place. It is available for 9 millimeters, 7 millimeters, and 5 millimeters. So make sure you get the correct blister pack. The 9 millimeter ones have the red highlighted there, so I know that I get the correct one. But again, always double check with your Janome dealer. So available for a number of machines, and again, just snaps into place. Now, a good resource as well, there's lots of, there's a couple of videos on Janome America's YouTube channel. So go to YouTube and type in Janome or Janome America, and then up comes their YouTube channel. And there's a couple of videos on how to use this foot. But also in your browser, if you just Google Janome binder foot, and up will come a whole bunch of posts. There's a lot of Janome dealers that actually do their own videos as well. So they are a great resource on how to use certain functions in the machines and how to use the feet as well. And, you know, I follow Janome all over the world. Janome Australia, Janome UK, Janome Brazil, a lot that are in Europe. And I can't always understand what they were saying, but visually I can see what they're doing. So I can learn a lot following other Janome sites from around the world. Because again, the feet and the machines are pretty much all the same. So in this binder foot, again, it will, maybe you can see, that it folds over. You insert your strip in here and it will fold it over. You can add another piece of fabric through this channel here, if you wish. And then it will come out the end here, so it's folded, your raw edges of your strips are folded under. So I found, again, always experiment, but I found about 1 inch works really well. 1 inch to 1.25 inches is really as big as you'd want to cut your strips. I tried cutting it like 1.5 inches, for example, and it was really a waste because this opening down here is again approximately about 1/4 inch. So your strips will only end up to be so big or so little. Now you could experiment. I never did try doing like 1/2 inch raw fabric, for example, and what that would fold down to. I didn't try that yet. To me, that would be a little too fiddly, but if that's the application you want to try, go right ahead. These finish again about 1/4 inch when I start with a 1-inch wide piece of fabric. So for me, that's good. So I liked that. Now, one thing, you can use straight of the grain or bias. Now, if you are going to go around a curve, for example, again, you're always going to want to use a bias cut of fabric, so it'll go around that curve more easily. But something that will help you stitch your fabric, one thing I really love using is this Terreal Magic. And it is like a really, really heavy-duty stabilizer, you know, like spray starch in a way, but it's more concentrated. So you really, a little goes a long way. But with this Real Magic, if it's just a couple of strips of fabric, I put it in a plastic bag like this, and then I put my fabric in there and then spray it so it doesn't get all messy. Then you take this out, you let it dry, and then press it, and it takes your fabric. This is just like a normal piece of fabric, and this will work fine through the binder foot, but that worked a little better, I found, because it, again, can you see the stiffness of this? It actually works a little easier. It's a little easier to control, and particularly if you're using bias, there still is some stretch, but it really has controlled a lot of that stretch by treating it first with the Real Magic. So this will still go around a curve, okay. Again, there still is some stretch here, but it has helped control some of that stretch. And then the Real Magic just washes out afterward. So it's quite handy to use. I use it for embroidery as well. And if you've got our artistic edge cutter, you're probably already familiar with this. If not, then definitely this will be your friend, that you treat your fabric to get it really nice and stiff, and then cut it out on your artistic edge cutter, and it works really, really easy. So I found as well that by having this foot off the foot holder, let me do that. So having the foot off the foot holder is easier to get this started. So by having it at an angle as well, that definitely helps get it started. So there, it's starting to get through the end of my funnel, and use your tweezers if need be. They work even better if they say Janome. I'm just teasing, of course, but yes, you can check with your Janome dealer to get the Real Magic. Janome Canada, at least, I don't know about Janome America, but Janome Canada is a distributor of Real Magic, so check with your dealer. Maybe your dealer might even have some of these Janome tweezers, who knows. But there, perhaps you can see already, do you see how that's folded in? So there's my 1 inch wide strip, and then it's already folded down the raw edges. It is similar to what our quilt binder attachment. It's very similar. In fact, the quilt binder attachment, the foot there is the W1 foot. So it's very similar. Helps to control fraying. Yes, I agree. It absolutely does. And then again, if I wanted to insert another piece of fabric in the inner jaw, so my strip, my tape, my binding is in the outer jaw, and then this other piece of fabric can go in the inner jaw, whoops, like so. Now I find it is easier, so pull out some extra. When you cut your strips, just make sure that they're extra long, so you want a little extra that is under the foot and just snaps into place. Today I am demoing on the Skyline S7, and it is the first time I have used this machine, or at least when I sat down for the first time to this machine, and it's really cool. I really like it. So I'm just getting my thread in there. I'll just give you a little highlight of the machine, I guess. I'm sorry for the glare of the screen, but one thing I love about the Skyline S7 and Skyline S9, they have the sewing applications menu. So that's something I've often talked about with my Memorycraft 15000 and the Continental M7. T-shirt applications, little icon is sewing applications. You select the t-shirt, and then it sets the machine up for you depending on what task you'd like to do. So there, then the binder is on the binding foot, is on my foot holder. I've got my binding strip started, and then I'm just going to start stitching. Now you can adjust your, depending on your machine, then you may be able to adjust your needle position so that I'm really close to the fold, which overall is okay, but I'm just going to move it a little bit more over to the right so it's not as close to that fold. So to hold my strip as I'm stitching. I like to hold it out a little bit to help control it, but it stitches so easily. And again, so accurately, folding it all over by itself, so I don't have to worry about, you know, burning my fingers at the iron. And then this, if I just want to slip it in, and use your stiletto, if need be, to help slide that fabric down there, and just to get it started. Hopefully my hand's not in the way too much. I think Tanya's going to be back here with me on Friday, so then it's always helpful to have someone film. So there, then I'm just holding up maybe, oh, I'll move my hand. So there's my, again, my outer strip, and I'm just holding my, my inner piece of fabric that I am binding approximately in the center of that strip. But again, it's very quick, very easy. I won't bore you all with the whole thing, but then once I get there, and I'll use my scissors. Now, if I had more fabric to go, I would leave this in the binder and then put on another piece of fabric. I'll just cut it off there. But again, very beautiful, very uniform. So very quick and easy. This could be an apron front, for example, and then these could be the big ties around the apron. Again, think of whatever application, or again, like a little banner or something like that, I think would be really cute. So there's many good uses for this cute binder foot. Again, available for 9mm, 7mm, and 5mm machines. There are instructions, as always, on the back of the blister pack, but again, check out the Janome America YouTube channel for the couple of videos they have there. And again, just search the internet out there, Google Janome binder foot, and check out what some of the other Janome dealers have posted with information on how to use this foot and cutting your strips, for example. So it's very fun. So if that is good, I think that's everything. Again, I wanted to be somewhat short because I wasn't sure if this hotspot that I'm using right now for internet connection would work. Ooh, one last thing I will show you, because again, I save everything. I thought this was kind of fun. If you make a bunch of your straps, these are just leftovers, but let's say you make yards and yards and yards of straps, and then you kind of weave them together. They could either be really woven closely together, or you leave a little bit of daylight in there and weave them together. If they were really close, maybe this would become like a little mug rug or something, or further apart, I thought, oh, that might make something cool, something, you know, wearable art, like a big scarf or something like that. You know, again, just to have fun and not let anything go to waste. Or how about you make with your leftovers of like that, for example, then there I made my own little ribbon that reminds me of like the breast cancer pink ribbon, or the, you know, the AIDS ribbon, something like that. So I thought that would be kind of cute as well, that you could coordinate a little ribbon, do your outfit, or decorate a mask like that or something, you know. So again, don't let anything go to waste. So yes, thank you so much for joining me, everyone. It is wonderful to see you all. So again, today's Janome HQ A to Z Instagram Live was brought to you by the letter W for the binding foot. So thank you all. I hope you have a wonderful Canada Day, and I will see you all on Friday when we talk about X, the cloth setter. So X marks the spot. Coming up tomorrow on Janome Canada, I believe it is Janome Canada Instagram at 1 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's Erin talking about hand look quilt stitch, which is always popular. So yes, tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern at Janome Canada to find out about the hand look quilting stitch. And then I will see you back here for the cloth setter on Friday, 1 p.m. at Janome HQ. Yes, and Margaret, ties, straps for masks. Absolutely. That would be perfect. That could totally be ties for masks. So yes, lots of good uses for this W binding foot. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you all and have a very fabulous day. Happy Canada Day. Thank you. Bye.